There's a fight because the subconscious is used to the familiar. And I know you love also Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you would say, you're either creating a predictable future or you're designing a new future, which means that you literally have to think and be and feel differently. You have to become someone new. And that is where the fear comes in because you're like, well, that's not who I am. We're fighting the psyche is like, who are you right now? Well, great question to ask based on the goal is like, who do I need to become in order to fulfill this mission? And there's got to have a change because if you don't, then that's going to be the same predictable future. So the scary part is starting to be in the unknown because you haven't been there yet, but it's living it now so that it creates your reality.
Say it for the people in the back. I love that. And thank you for first of all acknowledging our similarity in our names. I thought that was such a funny thing when we first started talking. Obviously, men listening know we're Ignite the King with a K, and I always have to say that to people. And you're the nightclub with a K. I mean, the similarities couldn't be more on point. So love that. I'd like to, as you say, double click on some of these values because I think they're just so awesome and so fundamental. Uh, Being humble, I love that you said you either be humble, or you will be humbled. To quote our guy Alan Watts, he says that the biggest ego trip of them all is pretending you don't have an ego, and
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
He's so brilliant, right?
he's so amazing, right? Totally. And you walk. Sometimes I walk into rooms and masterminds and things, and you'll say, "Oh, there's no ego in this room," and it's like I think that's a misnomer. It's like we need to have a healthy ego, right? We need to have a connection to that. It's not about having no ego. It really is about having a healthy version of that. And to your word, humble is a great way to keep that in check. Life will have a way of humbling us, and I think as men, it's as the modern man and men doing the work. It isn't about having this flashy ego. It's not about having maybe if you like fancy cars and flashy things, that's great, but that's not a representation of who you are, right? It is about living more of this. Let's just call it a stoic lifestyle where it's not the loudest guy in the room that's the most powerful, right? So
Exactly.
you just stand in your power, and it's felt. It's a feeling. Like you shared the story with your fiance that canceled the wedding, and you were going through all that stress at the time, and you're like, yeah, she could feel it. Maybe I wasn't saying it. And it's like, especially women, they're so intuitive. They know their emotional systems are wired way differently than ours. But you walk into a room, your vibe speaks before you even walk in the room. And as men, I think we have this thing that like we can outsmart people in a way. This is where a lot of that magician trickster energy come in. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
can manipulate, especially people in sales, right? Like, I was a professional doctor for a long time, but I was still in sales, right? I still had to enroll people in their care, and there were times I'd walk into that room where I had to make my offer for them to be in care, and yet maybe I was coming off a bad conversation or something that was I was still thinking about, and then oh shocker that person didn't enroll in care, right? Because my vibe spoke way louder than what my words were saying. And when we talk about communication, the words that we say are literally 8 to 10% of what how a message is received. Well over half of a message being received by another is literally our physiology, what state we're
Mhm.
in when we're delivering the message. And then, a portion of it is how we deliver the message, the tone, the timbre, the volume, the pitch, all of that. But really, people do not remember any of the words that we say to them. And, we're going to be on a 45 minute podcast here, right? But it's like, what's the feeling a man walks away with? What's the inspiration? What's the energy that he's like, yeah, that makes me want to be a better person. That makes me want to. I feel you want to jump in here, so I'm going to give you a chance to respond, but I want
No,
to
I
keep
mean,
going
there's
on your
so
values.
much. Yeah, I think it could be extended to 10 hours. Don't worry, listeners, it's only going to be 45. Yeah, the vision that I had when you said that to me, I call myself, and so we can talk about language, right? So there's language that we tell ourselves, the inner dialogue. So the I am statements, or what I call the source code, like what spits your reality. It's just like I am that I am is on everything after I am is what you create. So for me, and we can go in that direction too, but what I create myself to be is I call it I am the lighthouse in the world. So talking about a presence, talking about how you're showing up in a room. So for me, the vision, the visual that I have of this lighthouse, I don't know if you've ever seen this picture where it's huge waves, like maybe 30 meters wave on one lighthouse, and the lighthouse is rock solid.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what I aspire to be, because I feel like with all the challenges, the pressure that men have, when you stay as the lighthouse, you're at the bottom of the ocean for the feminine, for
Woo.
everyone around you. That's felt. You're like, this guy is rock solid. And like you said, now you're almost like, I would rather be the guy that enters the room, that, and as to borrow what my friend said, that they're like, you got the pink shirt, but I don't want to fuck with you. Meaning, like, you don't speak, and I'm almost afraid. You know what I mean? Like, because this guy,
Yeah.
this presence, as opposed to the guy that look at me, and like,
Yeah.
you mentioned things on the outside, and you can have both. The difference is that when there's a foundation as the bottom of the ocean, the lighthouse, the guy that comes in serves, you can feel that.